Hello and welcome back to my GTNH playthrough. It is November 3rd. We are back over here on top of my ore processing building, which is actually the last place we're going to stop, so I probably should have started over here. So this video, I'm going to go over all the stuff I did over the weekend as well as today, which was quite a bit of things. So there was a few big things and then a bunch of little tiny things, so I'll try to be a little concise and kind of break it up into some of the major things I did. First of which was this line. So I don't have anything labeled, so I would understand if you don't know what this little processing setup is. But essentially what we got going on here is this is the phthalic acid line. It goes through all these machines and ultimately culminates here where we take naphthalene and lithium dust combined together for the phthalic acid. Now, I had upgraded the place we use phthalic acid at is specifically over in the B building. I use it for a bunch of the combs, and with that, I had upgraded 5 of my LCRs down to 3 mega LCRs, and the phthalic acid could not keep up. And honestly, I thought I had fixed it so it could keep up, and it does not seem like it still is. Yeah, as you can see, we don't actually have anything in here, so it's still not keeping up, so I'm gonna have to address it. As well as that. That up there is a vacuum freezer that I made a change to earlier, and for some reason just keeps power failing. That power fail I'll go over here in a little bit. But ultimately, so I wanted to speed this up, and even though it's not like gaining on phthalic acid, it is going a little bit faster. So the first thing I wanted to start off with, so the way we essentially do it is we take tree logs, and then put them through another pyrolyze, and then distill, chemical reaction, distill again, phthalic acid. So this one, the first pyrolyze oven, was originally getting all of its wood from this little ender tree farm over here. This was not keeping up with this input over here, so I changed it to be instead. I originally started with this guy because the extreme industrial greenhouse, because up in the netherite line I used one of these for glowstone and it was keeping up great. Does not work for tree saplings, and I threw 4 IC2 crops in here and this thing sucked. It did not go very fast. And then I was kind of looking through the quest book and saw this guy, the tree growth simulator. This thing, on the other hand, is amazing. I actually had to make sure I turned it off because it made ridiculous amounts of logs super fast. As you see, I have it just chilling at 1,000,000. So I highly recommend this if you need trees. It is a pretty expensive multi-block technically, but tree growth. No, I meant to click on this one over here. You can see it takes 4 IV field, all that jazz, but that's not too important to me. It was more important to get the spruce going fast. This guy just makes distilled water. It's unrelated to the rest of the line. So that sped up this. I did come through here and then upgrade the voltage of this whole line. It actually was still on EV with a couple things overclocked. Now it's all on LEV to try to get as fast with this guy up overclocked to ZPM, and same with like everything else where it felt like it was a bottleneck. So this guy's a bottleneck, this guy's a bottleneck, kind of, sort of. It is just mainly this guy now. I honestly probably need to throw more of these down and the rest of the line should catch back up. Because if you look, this guy does not stay on nearly as long as this guy. But that was the main thing, upgraded the voltage. The other thing I did, so originally this was for individual distilleries. I did craft 2 of the Dangote Distillers things. This one replaced over here, which it runs this guy in 12 parallels versus the single before, because this is basically the upgraded version of the distillery. This guy, or distillation tower, this guy is the upgraded version of the distillery, which weirdly, and it ended up having another multi-block at the same time that I was setting up have this problem too. To convert or to swap modes on this guy to run in the distillery mode, it needs to be its max height, and this building was not built with a 12-story tall multi-block in mind, so that's why it's kind of hanging down here. But so it is faster, but it still needs improvement. So that was thing number one. Thing number two was getting myself some void miners, which there was a lot involved to get those. There was this multi-block, which is kind of similar to that guy, where this is a plasma arc furnace. Specifically, it's running in, if I come over here, plasma arc. So this guy is the high current industrial arc furnace. So it is normally an arc furnace, but if you want it to run in the plasma mode, it needs to be its max size. Because if you were to just like look at this, I got thrown off and thought it was just a little 3x3x3 multi-block, but no, if you want to swap modes, it does need to go to, as you can see there on the third line from the bottom, max size required to process plasma recipes. So to make this guy big, we're using this specifically for the netherite frames at the moment, but we'll have to use it for the other netherite stuff. If we look in here and come up to this part, the arc furnace right here to get it is a ZPM, so this guy had to be overclocked, obviously. No big deal to do that, but just that's what this guy is. And then netherite frames actually have to be done over in a ZPM assembler. So I did craft the ZPM assembler. I have made a little bit of a headway into the ZPM quest book. I'm currently working towards the ZPM energy hatch, because the ZPM energy hatch is what's keeping me back from the reactor. I don't think this guy has anything. Yeah, I can make all this stuff no problem. So really it's just a matter of doing those quests to complete that part. But I also need super dense. I'm not quite sure what for. I'm sure there's something in here that I need to throw up a few more multi-blocks, but the whole reason we're gunning towards this is because this is what's blocking me from making the quantum armor. It's literally just a one plasma that I need to be able to finish out that recipe, and so that's just, we're doing everything to get to here, and then I'll kind of I don't know, expand the base out a little bit, because I do need to upgrade a lot of processing. But anyways, on the way to that, one of the things I wanted to do, because I hate moving miners around, is get the void miners. So why is this power failing? Are these all charged now? Hopefully this can chill out. I don't get it. Maybe I need to use the superconducting wire. But so now I can hop towards this power failure. So the void miners, I did a bunch to be able to set these up over the weekend as well. But they need to, I don't know if it's the placement of this guy. So I'm kind of hopping back and forth. This guy only takes little over 1 amp to run. It literally is hooked on a P2P, that P2P down there, to a 16 amp dynamo hatch up here. Wherever it is. Yeah, this one is the fusion lap battery, void miner 1. If we look, 16 amp dynamo hatch. There's literally, and this has all the power in the world. There's literally no reason that this thing should keep on power failing on me. But it's weird, because it's like, I don't know if it's just because it's down so low, but I've had, like, it seems to just constantly, this guy will randomly run out of power for some reason. Like, it'll disappear, and it'll almost act like part of the power it was getting was not like chunk loaded, which doesn't make any sense, because it's literally one chunk over, and definitely all is chunk loaded. Like, I don't know. But anyways, so I crafted this one and then crafted 2 others. The other 2, I set one on Io and one on Oberon, specifically because those 2 are the highest tier and had a bunch of the extra ores on top of. One of them has the Io has the sulfur ore, which we need specifically for sphalerite, and Oberon has galena ore, among a bunch of other things, which we need to get. Both of those are to get indium, and both those we can't get from the bees, so that's where I set up these other 2 miners. But I did want to make sure I was getting the most out of this, while also not having to fly back to those moons to start them up. So Just imagine this, but like on different planets. The first thing I did, which I had not bothered doing elsewhere, was I crafted my first auto maintenance hatches, and I only have 3 of them so far, and they're all on the different void miners. So you need to fill their internal buffer with those 4 items: the tape, the lubricant, screws, and IV or HV circuits. But then this guy will do auto maintenance, and then as well, if they have power fails or weird things going on, this guy, I throw a machine controller on top with just 100% always going redstone, because basically this will always kick it back on no matter if it's got weird stuff going on like this one does. The only thing that's kind of annoying for it is because as soon as the power fail trips, it will just keep it on screen always. I accidentally deleted my whole inventory earlier because I was trying to follow the instructions to like clear the power fail just from the console, and it literally deleted all my stuff, so I had to roll back the server. That was a little annoying. But the only difference between this one and the others is the other ones I'm using quantum gateways, which I'll go to here in a second, because those were my first one of those I crafted as well. But I did craft the Krypton, or breed the Krypton bee. I also technically bred the Xeon bee as well, but the Xeon comb, if I could spell, this guy, if we look at it, he will only produce his product in the Mega Apiary, which I don't have yet. So we're going with Krypton. Basically, this thing always runs on an 8-second cycle, and then its output is multiplied by the tier of the energy hatch and the type of gas that's input into it for the factor. But I will say these are pretty gnarly for how much ores are given already. And the overworld ones, just because, I mean, we get like diamonds and all that jazz and a bunch of other random stuff. Plus, I needed to like set it up to see how it worked before I started like hopping around planets. I also bred the bee that these Caliestis blocks that are like, what's it called? They don't have outlines and are just light. There's a bee that literally gives you all 16 different colors of these, so I bred that. But hop back up here real quick. Probably will power fail while we're still in the video. I mean, it's constantly doing it. Hop over here. Yeah, so I bred the Krypton bee. Oh, I set up a new line. This one has my Krypton going, which actually I need to check on. And is it still keeping up? Krypton. Yeah, it's just still gaining. I swapped all my Volcanuses and stuff to use Krypton instead, because it actually made a decent amount of difference. Like I had an Aquata alloy going, and it went from 20 seconds to 13 seconds for its parallel. And I think that was it mainly for bees. I did shut off my iridium and my osmium one just because I am like, this guy is not keeping up. But we should be all caught up on Mox, which I did upgrade the reactors for ore processing to Mox, but I'm kind of jumping around. So down below, to be able to power the void miners as well as send items, I put them even lower. I set up these guys. These are my first 2 quantum gateways. So this one we can see I renamed it with the quartz knife, but I also renamed the singularities with the anvil. So this one's IO, this one's Oberon. I'm just doing 1 P2P, and this should cover 6 of them, I think is the math for it, because I need 4 plus all the P2Ps to like power the void miners. Was it the only thing you're missing? So on the other side, just imagine the void miner. The other thing I did just to be able to make sure it can start itself back up if something happens, I have a ender tank, a EV combustion engine, and then an energy acceptor. That way that side, because it's chunk loaded, if there's something weird that causes us to power down, or like I accidentally turn off the AE network for a second and it shuts off, those will boot up the gateway on the opposite side, and then it'll start getting powered from the main network instead. So that's what I got going on here. And then the last thing, well, before I get to the last thing, just kind of show what I'm working on, or future thing, because I've got two main things I'm going to work on tomorrow, but one of them's kind of unrelated to anything else, which is over here. I know to start getting towards this Mark III, I'm going to need these wafers here, which PPC wafer, PPC. I think this one might need tier 4 water. No, this one just needs tier 3. Okay. So yeah, I need to set up tier 3 water, which I did set up the multi-block. These blocks missing are just the inputs for it. I kind of got distracted while I was waiting on stuff earlier, so I was waiting on an energy hatch to craft. Basically for the tier 3 water, or grade 3 water. Grade 3. Flocculated water, osmonated water. Yeah, this guy. We gotta make this chemical here, this polyaluminum, which is basically a 3-step process in the large chemical reactor. So that's what this guy will be. And I got myself set up for power and everything already for it. I just need to finish setting up the multi-blocks and finish setting up this guy. But aside from the input-output buses, all that jazz, and linking it, this guy will be good to go. I'll probably actually do that tonight once I'm done recording and all that jazz to get this guy going, since it'll probably take a while to build up a buffer. I will probably leave the server running overnight tonight to do that. And then the final thing I started to work on, because of all the void miners and stuff, I started to upgrade my actual ore processing. I haven't really touched over here since I first set it up, which it's basically like a basic washer. Like, I've just got a little bit of setup. I've started to lay out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 full rows of macerators, which these I did upgrade for the first time to the tier 2 version, which is keeping up, but I want to be able to set down more void miners in the future without everything just not working anymore. So we're going large for a while. I know eventually in the end game I'll need to like spam more, but I want this current setup to last for a while, besides running through here and quickly changing out the wire to upgrade. Like, just run through here, change out all the energy hatches and wire, and go onwards. So that'll be macerators, ore washers, thermal centrifuge, another line of macerators over here, because one will be the ore input, one will be the processing the centrifuged ores, and then a row of sifters. And then everything down here will be like special processes, like the rare earth, random stuff that needs to be electrolyzed. Like one I threw in here today was this adamantine dust, gets electrolyzed into adamantium, which was a new ingot I did, but it needed that for flocculation. And then, as you can see, I've got all the stuff mostly crafted for now. I think I swear I went to craft more maceration stacks, but I am gonna do 1 row of like stuff I want to, if I'm like short on ore, for example, like this maceration stack. You notice I didn't like wall share the input output. I could have shared the output, but this is just gonna be like, I wanted more galena sphalerite, and then I was out of niobium, so this guy, once it's macerated, gets me niobium. So I threw all of that in here because the rest of the process doesn't keep up. So this is just will help me if there's something I really need to focus on and stress or get like push forward. I can just use like a row for that, like the stream, basically like the fast lane. With this, I did upgrade the reactors down here to Mox. Happy to say that nothing blew up this time, although it looks like I missed a warded glass. So I'm glad nothing blew up. Throw this in here. So yeah, the plan for tomorrow is pretty much what I said. My plan for tonight is to set up the the grade 3 water. My plan for tomorrow is to expand the ore processing so it's handling the void miners. We can look over here. Like, I had to actually throw another ME drive down because I'm getting so much stuff. I've just got like backlog of literally like a couple million different ores that need to be processed, so I'll get that all taken care of. Also, I don't know why. Interesting. Rare earth 1. I need to set up the multi-block dehydrator so this stuff goes faster as well. But yeah, that was it. I tried to keep it a little faster because I did go through a lot. Like I said, there was a bunch of other little changes that I did throughout the week or throughout the weekend. Like, I upgraded a lot of mostly power tier upgrades to be able to handle the new stuff. Like, I needed to be able to make the ZPM superconductors, for example. I needed to upgrade my mixers to be able to mix the new base alloy and just stuff like that. There's other things. The other thing I kind of want to do tomorrow after I upgrade this is for the netherite stuff before it starts biting me in the butt. I want to set up like 7 more of those flocculation things because I'm pretty sure I have like, if we were to look at milled, yeah, I have 750,000 milled netherrack to run through, and this is a very slow process, but this is like 100% going through this flotation cell is definitely the bottleneck up there to get it going. So I want to throw down like 7 of these because even with this running all weekend essentially, like I only have 200 of these, and I think use like 2 every time for every like netherite thing. Like, if we look here, or use 1 for this, but you know, if I want 1 frame box, that's 2 of these gone. So it's very slow. So just little stuff like that. We're just going to be, this week will mainly be aiming on speeding up things, and if I can make the quantum armor and the Mark II reactor and the quantum armor by the end of it, then that'll be a victory. If that's next week, that's fine as well. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'm gonna get working on that grade 3 water, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night.